Welcome to the Ask Domnat show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. Fastest 30 minutes of your day to make you an overall more informed person. My name is Dominique Pereira, but you know me as Ask Domnat. Today, we have an amazing show, as we always do, but I would not lie to you. Today's show is great. I'm keeping it lighthearted. I'm keeping it informative. And I'm keeping it spicy. Megan Thee Stallion for January 7th rundown. Let's go through the show rundown. Megan Thee Stallion opens up a Popeyes franchise out in Miami. Very interesting situation. I want to talk to you guys about franchising. I think it's honestly a great move for those who don't have enough time this morning. Great opportunity there. This is a business, so that is a business move. So I love it for her. Media company, Semafor. You never heard of them, probably. I know I didn't really. I've kind of heard a little bit about it, but they raised $30 million. Whoa. So I want to talk to you guys about that. And then my guy, Yonelkis, talked about 401ks and IRA with me. And what are they? Is it something that you should be looking into? Why? Blah, blah, blah. 401ks. If you're working, if you're not working, 401ks and IRAs, are they for you? Companies don't explain it enough. What are they? How do you get into it? And how do you make money off of it? This is an investment show, but remember, somebody's going to put a disclaimer down here that this is also just entertainment, informational, and general knowledge purposes. Like, do your own research, folks. I mean, make sure your situation is not my situation. I'm not a guru. Let's get into Megan Thee Stallion this morning, folks. Tell me where you're coming in from. Tell me if you're in Miami this morning or Bangladesh. I don't know. I have a lot of Indian viewers. Welcome from India. I don't know what time it is over there. So Meg, all right. So Megan Thee Stallion is deciding, I want to get into entrepreneurship. I want to take my music career. I want to take all my popularity and I want to throw it into another business asset because I won't be a hot girl forever. I might be a warm woman later on in my life. So I want to have some money on the side. So congratulations to her. She opened up a Popeyes over in Miami. Let's get into the opening day where she's meeting her employees here. Heidi. Hey, May.
Yes.
So obviously it's a new store. It's a longer video, so you guys go check it out on her channel. A lot of black employees. I love it. It's Miami, so they might be Cuban. But I love it. I love it for her. I love it for them. She's using her celebrity. I know it's exciting. There's a lot of celebrities that go into these fast food franchising. Are they a good idea? How much does it cost to get into a Popeyes? Megan Thee Stallion obviously has some money. So let me get into it with y'all. Popeyes, to get into a Popeyes, it's not like starting a regular restaurant. If you start a regular restaurant, you can start it in your kitchen so long as the licensing and department doesn't catch you. Right? You don't have to pay anybody. You can just start selling plates out your kitchen. If you're from where I'm from, you know somebody that started selling plates out of their kitchen. But when you do a franchise, now it's Popeyes in this case. She was doing a hot sauce last year, 2 years ago with Popeyes. I think it's called the Heidi hot sauce. She parlayed that into another restaurant, a whole restaurant franchise. Somebody tell me what y'all think it costs to open up a Popeyes. Because it's a franchise fee. You have to, you want to use the name Popeyes, you got to pay a Popeyes franchise fee. Now, because Megan is so popular, I think Popeyes would be dumb to not just let her open it for free. If I was Popeyes CEO, I'd give Megan Thee Stallion a Popeyes. I don't see a comment on what y'all think the Popeyes fee is. That means that y'all don't know. But that's why you're here. I will inform you. To open up a franchise fee for Popeyes right now is $50,000. $50,000 to open up a Popeyes franchise. So let's say you decided, you know what, I want to be a hot girl too. I want to take my little money that I got and I want to open up a Popeyes. You got to give Popeyes $50K, which is not a lot of money relative to some very popular franchises. Some franchises you have to pay a lot more, but you have to pay $50,000. But that doesn't mean, all right, you got $50,000, then you're all set. No. Popeyes then requires you to have a location. It requires you to do the build out, the painting, all their colors. You have to use some machinery that they use for their chicken. They work with a deep frying company. They work however they make they biscuits. You got to do all of that. So to do a build out for a Popeyes, they looked into this. If you wanted to start a Popeyes tomorrow, because you're busy today, if you want to start a Popeyes tomorrow, it would be roughly between $504,000 and $1.9 million. Whoa! $504,000 and $1.9 million. The reason that it's so greatly wide is because it depends on where you're starting. Are you starting a Popeyes in a mall, right? Where they already got the studios? Are you starting a Popeyes in the little plaza? Or you put in an individual Popeyes? Again, you pay Popeyes $50,000 for those just joining in. That's your franchise fee. Then you got to do the build out to their specs. So Megan Thee Stallion, if she was just regular buying it, she would have to build out the entire Popeyes. Presumably, I think that one is a standalone Popeyes. I didn't see the outside of it, but she had an amazing line in Miami, prime real estate, $1.9 million. Whoa, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. So for the strip mall is up to $1.9 million. For the standing location, I'm sorry, for by itself, it's between $1.2 million to $4 million because you have to get the building, prime real estate. A lot of these Popeyes are on really prime real estate. So you might be paying up to $4 million to open up this Popeyes. Megan Thee Stallion, she has that. You might not. So you have to generate that money. You have to get investors in. Well, okay. So now you paid the $50,000 and you paid the somewhere, let's call it $1 million to open up your Popeyes. Are you done, Dom? Am I done? Is the bleeding over? No, it's not. Every year you got to pay royalty fees. 5% in this case to Popeyes, royalties of your gross sales. If you make $1 million of sales, you got to pay 5% of that. Somebody do the math. It's like $50,000 in gross sales to Popeyes, in gross fees. Now, hey, good morning, Mr. Fireball 619 coming in from Philly. So you're paying 5% of gross sales. Now, is that it? No, then you got to start paying advertising costs as well. 4% of gross sales. Now you're paying all this money to Popeyes. You got the flat fee, you got the royalty fee, you got the advertising fee, and I think there's another fee of like 1%, which is not a bad thing because they got the national brand. They're out of Miami, Florida. We're only talking about this because Megan Thee Stallion opened a Popeyes. If it was any other restaurant, maybe it wouldn't have hit national news. They have a global presence. Now, Popeyes is owned by like international brand something. They own Burger King, like all these other brands. So they have $30 billion that they can really play around with. That's their company valuation to put behind somebody like Megan Thee Stallion's brand. So they have the money. Now, how much does Popeyes generate? Typically, you're putting all this money out. Popeyes generates about $1.7 million a year, depending on your location. $1.7 million a year, but you put in between $1 and $2 million to get it up and running. Not a problem. Not a problem. It is a problem. Sorry, I can't lie to y'all. I love y'all too much to lie to y'all. I don't know if this is a great business move. It is. The thing with Popeyes is that it takes on average, I did my little research for y'all, about 10 years to make your money back. Woo! 10 years. I'm 35. I'm going to be 45 by the time I get my money back. So it's a good investment on two occasions when you're franchising. It's a good investment if you have money from other places and you need to put it somewhere. Diversification, right? It's a good investment if you own the real estate. If you own the real estate, then great. It's a real estate play because then when you sell it, you don't got to wait 10 years. You sell the real estate and the business, or if you have a lot of locations. But if you have one location, it might be problematic. I say that to say I would not be surprised if Megan Thee Stallion opens up her second, third, fourth, and fifth Popeyes really soon to start getting all of that valuation multiplier. So Megan Thee Stallion, I love it. I love to see it for her. Now, why am I saying this, right? I'm not the biggest franchise fan. I was in the restaurant business, for some of y'all that don't know. I was in the restaurant business back in the day. This is me. They brought it up. This is me, Dominique Tecapando Pereira. Before you knew me as Ask Dom Nat, I was Mr. Chef in the kitchen. This was our first takeout order. It was the historic Victory Grill. I was just, part of the history of this restaurant. It was a licensing deal, so it wasn't a franchising deal. We were we were established in 1946, I think, as far as the restaurant's concerned. Take it off. That was me. That was one of the hardest businesses to run, the restaurant. I learned the margins are really low, the profits, but it's a labor of love. It's a labor of love. I liked it personally. I just didn't make a lot of money from it. And then the people who came in after me, did a great job in the rehabs and all that. It's capital intensive, as you can see here. So what did I decide to do after that, right? I decided, well, let me go into a more profitable business. Like this next article that we're going to be talking about this morning. Welcome, everybody joining us. Semafor raises $32 million, $30 million in funding. Who is Semafor? The company that you never heard of. Semafor is a news outlet company. They do media. They're like the CNNs, the APs, the whatever. $30 million for a $330 million valuation. Why am I bringing this up to y'all? Let's show their website. Semafor. There, this is it. Scroll. They got news articles. You know what this is. They got home, politics, business, technology, energy, golf, whatever. I get it. Good for them. What do? They create media. They are a media company. They got $30 million raised. Now and that person who invested the $30 million bought about 10% of the company. Get it off. That 10% of the company, a little bit. So now they're valued at $330 million. Woo! For that, you can do that. You can do with AI. That's what when I told you last episode that I want to get to $10 million valuation, and y'all said I was crazy. Now you see, well, now Dom, they must be making a lot of money, right? They must be making a lot of money if they're getting $30 million. And this is no shade to Semafor. If you guys want to sponsor an episode, welcome, please. Please do. You guys just got some fresh cash. We need it. We need your help here at Ask Dom Nat Show. But what can I tell you is when you are doing a media company, it's all about the eyeballs. It's all about the audience. It's all about your growth potential. Semafor did how much money in revenue do you think? Tell me what you think to get a $30 million investment or a $330 million valuation. They did $2 million in EBITDA. EBITDA. For those who don't know, EBITDA stands for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. What does that mean, Don? Well, it's just the profit of your business. How much did you make? Semafor made about $10 million plus, right? Like, I'm not sure about that number. They're a private company, so it's not completely public. They made about $10 million. And out of that $10 million, they had to pay staff. They had to pay their building. They're hosted warehouse here or headquartered here out of Virginia. They made $10+ million, but they had to spend about $8 million to operate their business. So what was left over? About $2 million. That's their profit, right? Like, call it. That's how you think about EBITDA. It's their profit. And out of that $2 million, somebody decided, whoa, you guys have a lot more growth to go. You guys have so much more potential. Here is $30 million. Now, when I'm growing my technology business, that's how I'm looking at it. When I told you I want to make $1 million this year with y'all's help, with y'all's encouragement, I want you guys to be part of it. Now, it's not because I want $1 million in my pocket. It's because I want somebody to say your growth potential is $20 million, $30 million. That's the rundown of it. So, yes, congratulations to Semafor. They're doing some awesome stuff over there. And then you need unbiased news. You need great unbiased news. That $30 million that they're planning on hiring people. They're planning on hiring journalists. It's a lot of wars going on, so you need to pay people a lot of money to go, you know, in the middle of a war zone, and take some photos for our scrolling pleasure. So, yeah, that's Semafor. Good for them. Now, what are we talking about today? Well, what's the question of the day? What's the difference between a 401k and an IRA? Do you guys have an IRA? But what is a 401k? What is an IRA? All right, so a 401k, let's get right into it. You guys are busy today. You got to get to work. Is it Wednesday? You guys got to get to work. And I got to get to work. I'm busy, but I love it. 401k is offered by your job. 401k was established in 1978. It's a relatively new product. It started being used more aggressively in 1981. I think Bank of Vermont or something started offering their employees. It is a tax code that's considered a defined contribution plan. Why is it defined? Because you, as the employee, define how much you want to put in. It's offered by your employer. So if your job says, hey, we, as a benefit to you, to attract you as an employee, want to give you a little incentive to stay with us, we're going to offer a 401k plan, which when you put some money in, we're going to put some money in with you, right? A lot of employers typically give between 3 and 6% salary match to your 401k. Now, we can talk about another episode about how the 401k replaced the pension plan, which was better for employees in a lot of ways, but it was worse for employers. The pension was the standard retirement plan, which was the employers put money aside for when you retire, they continue to pay you out for the rest of your life. They realized that was too risky. People were living too long. So, and they didn't know how much money to put aside. That's why I say now all of the risk for retirement is on you. That's why I encourage you to invest now, invest early. Time in the market is better than timing the market. So when you invest in your 401k, typically what you do is you put money in. And this year for 2026, the limit that you can put in your 401k is $24,500. All right, that you can take out of your paycheck every week, every 2 weeks, every month, and put up to $24,000. But hold your horses. Don't put that much in yet. I'll tell you why. Because your employer, the incentive here is your employer typically matches 3 to 6%. And now if you make hypothetically $100,000 and your employer has a 5% match, that means when you invest and when you put in 5% of your salary, $5,000 in your 401k, your employer is also going to put 5% of their contribution in there. So now for this year, you have $10,000 in your 401k. And then you're saying, okay, then so what, Dom? Okay, what's the big deal there? Well, now here's the goods and the bads. If you do a traditional 401k, you can put your pre-tax before they take the taxes out, $5,000. And then that's going to grow. Your employer puts all of their $5,000 pre-tax. So they're going to put their $5,000. That's going to grow. And when you retire at 55 and a half, I think is when you can start, or 65. I don't remember the exact ages. I can get it for you, but they might be subject to change later on like they did in France. When you retire, you will pay the taxes on that money at whatever that income bracket that you're in at that time. Now, if you're making a lot more money in your later years, you might pay higher taxes. So what's the downside to that? Well, you don't know where taxes are going to be later on in life. They might be higher. So if you save $1 million in your retirement and it was traditional 401k, and now you're in the 30% tax bracket when you're retiring because you've done some good financial savings and investing, well, you're paying, 30% high, but call it, 30, it's possible, but call it 30%, extreme example here. You're going to pay $300,000 in taxes. Woo! Nobody wants to pay that. So what is the other option? It's a Roth 401k. A Roth 401k works the same way. You put your money in, you choose an investment package. 401ks are managed by your employer. Remember that. That's important. Why? Because you don't have as much flexibility. Your employer typically pays a company, John Hancock, ADP, all these other Vanguard, to offer you guys packages, typically mutual funds. You pay a little fee to manage that mutual fund, and you can pick one of those investment packages. Some are aggressive and some are less aggressive. If you're older, you go with the less aggressive. If you're younger, vibrant like myself, I go aggressive. I want to make money. I want to be paid. I'm an aggressive. But what they typically have is a target date fund. If you aren't invested in a target date fund, talk to your institutional manager about it. The target date fund says, I'm 35 years old. I'm going to retire at 65. I got 30 years of investing. I want to make $1 million in those 30 years out of my investment. What should I invest in to get there? That's the target date. You guys are aiming towards an investment goal for a certain date. Now, what I mentioned was the Roth 401k. The Roth 401k allows you to get paid. Your taxes come out of your salary and your paycheck normally, like they do. And after the taxes come out, then you put the money into your 401k. So if you make, let's call it $1,000 for this paycheck, they take your 20%, you got $800 left. And then out of that $800, you take whatever you want. Take $300, $400, whatever. That's a lot, but $200, doesn't matter. Put it in your 401k. Now that money's already taxed. It's post-tax, so it's growing. All the investment that's coming out of there is growing tax-free. That's a tax-advantaged plan, not a tax-deferred. The traditional one is tax-deferred. You're deferring taxes for the future. For Roth is tax-advantaged. Now, the good thing with that is later on, if you make $1 million, right? Now you don't have to pay any taxes on that. Obviously, it's going to take you longer to make that $1 million because you didn't invest as much up front before you were able to invest before taxes. Now you're going to invest after. Now, what's the difficulty with all of this? Well, because it's employee funded, and because there's so many regulations to it, the state, or really the federal government, doesn't really want you to touch this money. So there are penalties if you want to take out the money that you put in. Let's say I'm living high right now. I'm feeling good. I'm maxing out my 401k, $24,500 a year. And then life happens. I lose my car. I lose my job. There's all this paperwork that you got to do to try to get your money out, right? Like, I got all this money sitting in my retirement account, but I'm living right now. Life is happening right now. So there are penalties that come with taking your money out early. And by the way, $24,500 is your traditional contribution. If you are 55 and older, there is something called a catch-up contribution. I'm not going to go over those specific limits because I want you to look it up, because it depends on your age, and the numbers are going to start to get convoluted. But there are catch-up contributions that you can add to that amount. But now, there are penalties that come with taking money out early. 10% penalty if you take it out before 65 and a half. 10% penalty if you take out your 401k early. There are ways to take out money out of your 401k, but you would have to borrow from your 401k. Now you got to go grovel to your HR. Please let me borrow some of my money. Please, I need it for tuition for my kids. Embarrassing. It's your money. You worked for it. Now they're controlling it. That's what I don't like. But that's fine. All right? Like that, because they don't want you to just go and spend it buying some new Gucci loafers. But all right, so that's that. That's the difficulty with it, that the money is not as accessible as you really want. They want to keep it in there for as long as possible to grow. Now, don't let me get cynical, but really 401ks are designed to make banks money. Sorry, I said it. These things are designed to make banks money, not you. They don't want you to really take it out. The truth is, they don't want you to take it out because these banks are making money while it's in there, right? Like, while it's in there, they're making more money, and they don't want you to touch it. Sorry. But you know what? That's just the system. Retirement has 3 pillars. It's of retirement. It's your 401k/IRA, Social Security, and your personal savings. Those 3 pillars of retirement. Oh, Don, what's an IRA? You talked about the 401k. What's the IRA? Well, what if you're not employed traditionally through a large company? Or what if your company is a small one that doesn't offer a 401k? Well, there's still an individual retirement account, IRA. And an IRA is similar to a 401k, but very different with different benefits. The IRA limit is much lower. You can, if you're self-employed, you can contribute to an IRA $7,500 a year. Now with the IRA, you don't need a account manager. You can do it yourself. Choose a brokerage account like Robinhood, which I use. You can contribute $7,500 a year to your IRA. Again, if you're 55 and over, there are catch-up contributions with your IRA. The same thing with the IRA is if you go with traditional IRA and you put money in, that money grows, right? Like let's say I get $1,000 from a client and I put that $1,000 tax before I pay my taxes on it in my IRA, that money's going to grow and I have to pay the taxes at my retirement. If I pay the taxes first, that's a Roth IRA. What's the benefit of an IRA versus a 401k and what's the downside? Well, the IRA, that's individual. That's you. There's nobody else giving you free money. There's no match. It's all by myself. Don't want to be all by yourself. All right. There's no contribution. Right. So now why would I do it why would I invest in my IRA? Well, because there's less regulation, folks. You can now invest not in just the mutual funds that your money manager is controlling your money. It's telling you you can invest in individual stocks. You can invest in ETFs. You can invest in more aggressive stuff. Right. There's more opportunities to invest. I like IRA investing, and it's a higher chance for success and failure. You can get more risky with it. And somebody like myself who has a high risk tolerance, I like that. But also when you put the money in, let's say you put 2 years of investment in, $7,500, $7,000. I got $15,000 of my money in there. But next year I go through hardship. I need to take my money out. I need it. Now, you don't have to go groveling to your HR and your money manager. Can I please borrow my own money? You can take it out yourself. You can take out the principal. You can take out the principal without able to manage the money. I have a SEP IRA and I'm able to manage the money much more directly. Exactly. Self-employed IRAs are easier to manage. You don't have to go and figure out who's going to allow you to do what. So when you're able to manage it, when you're able to take the money out, if you need the money to buy your first house, you need the money to medical bills, there are stipulations on ways you can take your money out without getting penalized. But the reality is, what's the strategy, Dom? Well, you can have your 401k and your IRA together. Here's what I recommend. Ask Dom that exclusive. I recommend that you start off making sure that you get your employer match. Whatever your employer is matching, and ask for more. Please, for the love of God, if you are getting paid by somebody to do a job, if you're getting paid by somebody to do a service, and you don't think you're getting paid enough, ask for more. I'm tired of people not asking for what they want. Ask for more. Hey, you're giving me 5%. Well, 5% is pretty good. But you give me 5% and I want 6. Oh, I can't give you 6. It doesn't matter what they're giving other people. Your relationship with your job has nothing to do with other people are getting paid. So, okay, I want 5%. Boom, your job gives you 5%. If you're making $100,000, now they're giving you $5,000 free cash. You do at least that. Then I don't say you continue to invest in your 401k. I have to really think about this more and more and more because it changes. But also fund your IRA. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Fund your IRA and your 401k simultaneously. Because if you leave that job, remember, you need to now transfer that 401k into another company. You need to into another vehicle. It's more convoluted. It's more complicated. And if God forbid you leave that job in the middle of a life emergency where you need access to that capital, it's just more complicated and convoluted. So if you start funding your IRA, you get some of the similar tax advantages and benefits, but it's more manageable. If you're not good with managing money, maybe the 401k is a better option because somebody is just managing it for you. You pay a 1% fee sometimes over every year for somebody to manage that money for you. People don't even realize that. But that fee is going towards those greedy bankers those wealth investment manager. You're not even wealthy. Why do you need a wealth investment manager? Okay. So that's what I would do. I would focus on getting to your employer match. And then after you max out your employer match, start contributing to your IRA, your Roth. I recommend Roth IRAs because you don't know where taxes are going to be in the future. I recommend Roth 401ks. You don't know where taxes are going to be in the future. So I would just strictly say we might as well get the guaranteed right now. And then hopefully in the future, you don't have to worry about it anymore. Guys, that's today's show. My name is Dominic Pereira, but you know me as Ask Domnat. So thank you for watching the Ask Domnat show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. What is it? The fastest 30 minutes of your day to make you a generally more informed person. This week, we're going to have some piggies coming to the farm. So let me know if you guys want to see some video of that. We got some little piggies coming to the farm. Excited about that. Excited to share with you. You guys let me know what else content you want to see. Until then, I'll see you on Friday at 8 a.m.